All right, I say we get going here. Welcome, everybody. It is so nice to see you all. Welcome to the 2020 One Book Colorado sponsor celebration. And really, we want to thank you for being here. My name is Lisa Hidalgo. I'm the morning meteorologist at Denver 7. We could not do this without you. I love to read. I'm sure a lot of you are big readers out there. And I think it's always fun as readers to share what we're reading right now or what we just read. Currently, I'm reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Good so far, a couple of chapters in, and then I just finished one of my new favorite authors is John Boyne, and it's called A Ladder to the Sky. Also a really good one. Huge reader. My girls are now, after a little poking and prodding, really into it as well. I'm in a number of book clubs. I also host the Denver 7 book club, and Denver 7 loves reading too. I mean, we are involved in a number of campaigns. Just getting books in the hands of kids is one of the most important things I think that we've really centered ourselves around. So we thank you for being a part of this, and we know how important early literacy is to a child's success in school and in life. And that's why we're proud to be partners with One Book Colorado. And thank you for all of you being here today. I know we're in good company, obviously, in this Zoom room today. It's thanks to all of you, the sponsors of this program, that we're able to distribute this year's book, The Little Red Fort. And I'm hoping that most of you have been able to see it, maybe read it to your kids. It's adorable. It's a good book. It's got a great message, and I love that it features Ruby. It's a really good one. Every 4-year-old out there in Colorado getting this in their hands. So thank you for being here with us today and for all of your generous support. I want to give you a quick preview of what you can expect at today's celebration. We're honored to have both Governor Polis and Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera with us. They're going to provide comments as well as a really short question and answer period. Christine Bonero with Mile High United Way will also share a bit of the history of One Book Colorado, and we have a very special guest, One Book Colorado alum who's now in 3rd grade, is going to share a bit about her one book experience a few years back. She's also going to be reading The Little Red Fort for us, which I know you're going to love. We had a little taste of it yesterday, and I don't know why, it's just so much cuter coming out of an 8-year-old's mouth, isn't it? To get things started, I am pleased to introduce Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera. Now, she has been a great leader and a wonderful partner for One Book Colorado, and she oversees Colorado and one of our partners on one of the Book Colorado programs. She's also willing to do story times for the libraries and help spread the word about book distribution. And for this year's virtual programming, she made a great video with her granddaughter to announce the winning book. You can check that out. It's on the One Book Colorado website. Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Lisa. It's always great to see you. I watch you on the weather all the time. So first, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors and partners for supporting this valuable program. Many of you have been involved in this program for years because you understand the importance of early childhood literacy. So your efforts and contributions have created a strong foundation for the program and enabled it to continue serving Colorado families. You know, we all know that when we give children books and encourage families to read together, we're embedding the culture of literacy across Colorado. Reading was such an important part of my life growing up. I also ensured it was an important part of my daughters' lives. When my daughters were young, I remember The Velveteen Rabbit being one of my very favorites in our house. Reading that book to them is a memory I will always treasure, and it's a great lesson to tell people what it's like to become real. It's these little moments that we share with our families that often matter the most, and books are often at the heart of those moments. Reading with our children is about more than just teaching how letters become words. It's about bonding with our kids. Reading helps kids develop empathy, learn life lessons, and create shared values and experiences. Now, I get to share this love of reading with my grandchildren. Reading a book together before my grandchildren go to bed is a highlight of every day. My granddaughter Kailani's current favorite book is Dragons Love Tacos. And it's about dragons that love tacos, but they don't like spicy tacos so much. And I recently had the opportunity to share this year's One Book Colorado book with her, and she loved it. And that's a picture of she and I in the fort that we made. So every child deserves their own little library, and every family should have the opportunity to experience the joy of reading together. A child's first teacher is often their loved ones, and I'm excited that every 4-year-old in Colorado will have a chance to read this book with their own families. That's what One Book Colorado is all about. And I know every child who receives this year's book will be just as excited as Kailani was to get it herself. So thank you again for your support of the One Book program. Thank you from all of the families and children across our state. So now I'm happy to turn it over to Christine Bonero, President and CEO at Mile High United Way, to talk more about what One Book has meant to children in Colorado throughout the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It is so wonderful to see you again this morning. You are always there for Colorado families and always there for all of us as well. And the picture of you and your granddaughter, I actually showed to my nephew, and he immediately wanted to build a fort as well. So thank you for inspiring all of us. You know, it is really unbelievable to know that One Book Colorado is celebrating its 9th year. It was actually a decade ago that Mile High United Way, the governor's office, the lieutenant governor's office, the state library, the Buell Foundation, Denver preschool program, and a whole host of volunteers actually got on a bus and went around Colorado to understand what was important to Colorado families. And what came away for all of us was the importance, as you said, Lieutenant Governor, of early literacy, and the importance of putting a book in the hand of every little one to help get them ready for kindergarten and to begin to share that love of reading. So building on an amazing program by the Denver Preschool program, One Book Colorado was born. And here we are 9 years later, and it's hard to believe that those little 4-year-olds that we put that first book in the hand 9 years ago are teenagers today. But we know, because of the support of everyone on this call, that here we are making Colorado strong. This year, it would have been impossible to do this without the amazing sponsors, all of you, that stepped up at a time in Colorado where there were so many things happening and you could have gone so many different directions. Our amazing sponsors, McDonald's, Parent Possible, Vroom, Reading Together, Buell Foundation, State Farm. I want to name every single one of you. Southwest Airlines, I know you're on the call today. The Junior League of Denver, Walmart, WHP, of course PNC, who's always put a stake in the ground, the Aspen Community Foundation, the Colorado Department of Education. We literally could spend time with each of you, but the fact that you stood with us, you said it's even more important in these days when families are together, and we need to make families feel safe, and we need our little ones to still be ready to go. Our sponsors, our supporters stood right by us and made this happen. And so today is all about you. We also could not have done this without the long-term partners. Mile High United Way has been so proud to stand with the Colorado Department of Education and the Colorado State Library. What a gift our libraries are. The Denver Public Library, Denver Preschool Program, you had the vision for all 4-year-olds in Colorado. And of course, Lieutenant Governor Serve Colorado, who is always there, making sure through our AmeriCorps programs and other service programs, you know, but particularly the AmeriCorps programs across Colorado, making sure. And this year, we could not have done, always standing by us, Denver 7, the Denver Channel, you, Kristen Stork, the entire Denver 7 team, you are extraordinary in getting our message out about the importance of early literacy. We are proud to be your partners. And we wanted to show you, all the sponsors, what it really looks like. We got a glimpse of Lieutenant Governor when she put the book in her hand of her granddaughter, but we want to give you a little glimpse of what happens when you hand the little red fort to a group of 4-year-olds. This year, Mile High United Way was very proud to launch, even with everything that is going on, the first mobile preschool in the city and county of Denver, thanks to a great partnership with the state of Colorado. And we want to show you what happened when we came with the little red fort.
Are you guys so excited today? We were one of the first group of kids to get this book from One Book Colorado. The Little Red Fort is the name of the book. What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, sponsors.
What a great video. And it's so fun to see how excited kids get. I mean, in this age of technology, when there's so many screens out there, to hand them a book and to see how excited they get. I think it's one of the neatest things when I'm at some of these events and the things that we're able to do and bring to these kids. And it shocks me when you think, you know, some don't even have one book of their own. So thank you again to all of you for doing this. Now I want to introduce someone extremely special. It's time for you to meet another kid who's excited about reading. And once you hear her read, you're going to know why. You're going to see why. Abigail Scheck, she's an alum of One Book Colorado program, and she's now 8 years old, and she's going to tell us about her experience with One Book Colorado. But first of all, Abby, really quick, I've been emceeing a lot of these events lately, and I have to tell you, do you know what my favorite part is about all these Zoom meetings? I get to wear my slippers. What are you wearing on your, what are you wearing? Are you wearing slippers?
No.
Anything on your shoes? I know you have piano coming up here pretty soon, don't you?
What are you wearing on your feet?
Nothing.
Well, good, Abby. You know what? It's been such a pleasure to meet you, and it's neat to see these kids grow with these books and to learn to love how to read. And I think you love to read, don't you, sister?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Well, you are here very soon going to be introducing a very special guest for us. But I think first you want to tell us a little bit about your experience, and you're going to read the special book to us, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lisa. My name is Abigail Scheck. I am 8 years old. I'm a 3rd grader at Lincoln Academy in Arvada. Thank you for inviting me to speak and read today. I love to read. There are so many great books. Reading is fun because you get to explore new books. I remember when I was 4 years old and I got a book from One Book Colorado. The book was Mouse Mess. My mom took me to the library where a really nice librarian gave me my book. It's about a mouse that makes messes at night when everyone is sleeping. Now I'd like to share with you this year's One Book Colorado. Little Red Fort by Brenda Mara, pictures by Sonia Sanchez. This book is about a little girl called Ruby, and just like me, Ruby has 3 big brothers. Ruby's mind was always full of ideas. One day, she found some old boards. Who wants to help me build something? She asked her brothers. Oscar Lee pretended not to hear her. Rodrigo gave her a look that could melt popsicles. Jose almost fell off the fence. You don't know how to build anything, they said. Ruby shrugged. Then I'll learn. And she did. Who wants to help me draw the plans? Ruby asked. Boys clutched their sides and howled laughter. Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll draw them myself. And she did. Satisfied with her plans, Ruby asked, who wants to help me gather the supplies? Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll gather them myself. And she did. When all the supplies were gathered, Ruby asked, who wants to help me cut the boards? Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll cut them myself. And she did. When all the boards were neatly cut, Ruby sang, "Who wants to help me hammer in the nails?" "Not me," said Oscar Lee. "I don't think so," said Rodrigo. "No way," said Jose. "I'm too busy." "Fine," said Ruby. "I'll hammer them myself." And she did. Soon Ruby's creation was complete. "Who wants to play in my fort?" she called. "Me," said Oscar Lee. "Let's go," said Rodrigo. "I'll play," said Jose. "I'm not busy anymore." "Not so fast," Ruby said. "You didn't help me. Draw the plan, or gather the supplies, or cut the boards, or hammer in the nails. You said I didn't know how to build, and you laughed at me. I'm going to play in my fort all by myself."
What?
And she did. "We didn't want to play anyway," the boys said, but they did. So they huddled, whispered, and got straight to work. Oscar Lee manned a mailbox, Rodrigo planted flowers, and Jose painted the fort fire engine red. Ruby was delighted. That evening, the boys followed a delicious aroma to a fort warming party. "Who wants to help me clean this plate?" Ruby asked. "We do," the boys said. And they did. The end.
Oh, Abby, that was so good. You're an awesome reader. You just love reading, don't you? How often do you read? Do you read every day?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. I love that. And let me see those two little front teeth. Oh, they're not there. They're missing. They look adorable. Now, you know what? I understand we have our special guest now who's joined us. Would you like to introduce our special guest?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
I want to introduce
I want to introduce Governor Jared Polis. He's a great governor, and he has kids close to my age. Governor Polis is a big supporter of education. Education is really important to me because I want to be a vet and a doctor and work at Starbucks, and I need an education for those things. Thank you, Governor Polis, for supporting education in One Book, Colorado.
Well, Abby, that was a wonderful introduction, and I'm glad I got to hear you a little bit. I have a 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they both love reading. And I want to thank everybody who has helped make One Book Colorado possible. I really, without your donations, none of this amazing work would be able to occur. And on behalf of a grateful state, I want to express my gratitude. As you know, early childhood education and reading skills are absolutely critical for kids. If they're going to go on to be successful learners, achieve academic success, and meet grade level expectations, they need to be good readers. And we know that starts early. And I'm particularly excited now that One Book is partnering with Imagination Library and some recently passed legislation to help bring a data-driven program that gets materials into the hands of our youngest Coloradans that are age appropriate and development appropriate to help provide even more readers the opportunity to get ahead. In our home, probably like the homes of many of you on the call who are parents, we have hundreds of books for our kids to choose from in their library. But I know that that's not the case for all parents. When you're struggling to make rent, to put food on the table, purchasing books might be out the window. We have the good fortune of when we go to Barnes & Noble, we say, pick out 2 books, kids. But there's a lot of Coloradans who can't. And the work of One Book Colorado, Imagination Library, our sponsors, our partners, is really about preparing our next generation of kids like Abby for success across our state, no matter where they live, no matter their parents' income, no matter their parents' first language. We are a very diverse state. And the work that you do, the work that you support, the work that you partner on really helps make sure that every child can achieve as a reader, be ready to learn, and meet and exceed grade level expectations. So I just want to thank all of you so much for all of the great work you do supporting and partnering with One Book Colorado. And I look forward to continuing to collaborate with you over the next few years. Thank you.
Governor Polis, thank you. And at this point, we'd like to ask you just a couple of questions. We got to hear a little bit from the Lieutenant Governor about her book growing up. Would you say there's a book that you remember growing up or one that you love reading to your kids that stands out?
Gosh, let's see. So, well, growing up, I enjoyed, Encyclopedia Brown, Choose Your Own Adventure. They're still around. Neither of our kids like the mystery ones, but our son likes the Choose Your Own Adventures a bit. But he prefers nonfiction. Our daughter, likes a lot of the Frozen books and things like that. So I enjoyed many different books growing up. I really like science fiction as well.
I thought you were going to say Encyclopedia Britannica, and I was going to say that's why you're the governor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we had that too. Those were back in the days. My parents had the full set, and I used to love taking it down and reading it as well.
And this question here, this I'm going to direct to both of you, both the governor and the lieutenant governor. We'll start with you, Governor Polis. This comes from Shelby Jones with Parent Possible. How can parents best support their child's literacy and learning when so many educational settings like schools, libraries, early learning centers are closed, obviously, due to the pandemic?
Well, I think it's a lot of the same things that you would do in normal times, but more of them. It means reading to your kid every night, having uninterrupted reading time, identify a spot in your home that's their special reading place. Could be a nook by a window, could be under their bed, on their bed, wherever it is. It's their special reading spot. Make sure they have designated reading time. Hopefully, most of the folks are back in some capacity around early childhood and preschool and kindergarten. They should mostly be back. I think there's probably a few that are not, but and there might be some interruptions along the way. But the other piece of that puzzle is having something to read, and that's why we love Imagination Library so much. One book can turn into 60 books for kids. So it's really about how having a reading nook is great, but if you only have 5 books and they're the same 5 books, your kid isn't going to read them and reread them. The interest won't be there. So how do you, ongoing basis, challenge them, excite them about reading?
Thank you. And same question for you, Lieutenant Governor.
My granddaughter doesn't need a lot of books because I read Dragons Love Tacos probably, at least 2 or 3 times a week. So I think oftentimes even reading the same book, I think is good bonding. And I have heard that if you read everything up until like the last 2 or 3 words and let them fill it in, then that helps them begin to learn to read. So, I think that's one way. And, I know the governor and I and Serve Colorado are really excited, as the governor said, about Imagination Library because One Book Colorado has gotten books into the hands of 4-year-olds, but Imagination Library will really extend that to kids much younger and have a lot more opportunity to read different books. So I'm excited to have that come into Colorado as well.
Well, thank you to both of you. Governor, I know you're busy. I got to ask you, though, because last year when we were all together for this, you had your awesome blue sneakers on. What are you wearing right now?
Let's see. They are wearing blue sneakers. Let me see if I can find them here. Hold on. Well, I'm having trouble, but they are blue sneakers. It's hard to adjust my computer to show them, but yes, and we'll see them in person next year.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here and for all you do, for everybody that's on this call. Thank you. And the governor mentioned, and as did the lieutenant governor, the Imagination Library. We do have a very special message from Dolly Parton. Go ahead, take a look at this video.
Hey, this is Dolly Parton. I want to personally thank Governor Polis and Senator Bridges for leading the way to bring the Imagination Library into your state of Colorado. And we've still got some work to do, but we're going to get there. So let's put some wings on that Imagination Library. Let's get some books in the hands of more children. We'll see you there. Thank you for helping out.
That is awesome. And again, does that woman age? She looks better. It's nuts. Abby, thank you so much. Hey, will you undo your mute button really quick? I want to talk to you for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So how is school going for you so far this year?
Great.
It is good. We're having some challenges in this house, I'll tell you what, but we're getting through. And I want to thank everybody out there. This has been such a good reminder of how important this is, especially during a pandemic, to get these books into kids' hands. And we just love and want to support One Book Colorado for the long haul, for the future. We hope that today's celebration reminded you how important early literacy is and how fun it can be. And perhaps you'll read with the young person in your life tonight. Abby, what book are you going to read tonight? Or are you going to build a fort? Maybe you should just build a fort too, like Ruby.
I bet I'm gonna read this book called Upside Down Magic.
Oh, my daughters have that. That's a good one. Very good. Well, thank you, Abby. Thank you to all of our sponsors. On behalf of Denver 7 and all of our One Book Colorado partners, thank you. We could not do this without you. And I know it's been a wild year, but at least 75% of you are wearing your slippers right now as we're doing this Zoom call. So that's the fun part of it. And we'll see you all in person next year. Have a great day, a great afternoon, and keep reading to the little ones in your life.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Bye.